Welcome back, everybody, to the Pokemon SoulSilver playthrough. This is part 41, and as you can see, I am still the champion. If it says so in the background, then it must be true. Alright, so, what the? Well, this is very inconvenient. Lyra, what do you want? Hello, good morning. Wait a minute, Route 26. No, already been there. Don't want to hear it. Whatever you have to say, it's null and void now. I've already moved on. Moved on with my life. Route 26 is... We're no longer in a relationship, so, you know, that happened. And anyway, so now we're going to be battling a sailor. Yeah. And he's got himself a fancy third-generation Pokemon, Makuhita. God, how I hated Makuhita in Ruby and Sapphire. It just seemed like every time a Makuhita popped up, it was just a little bit too powerful. But I don't think that's the case now. Because, see, I got a Skarmory, right? And it knows Fly. And it's super effective against Makuhita. And it's going to take him down in one hit. Yeah, take that, you fatso Pikachu wannabe with your tied ears and your Brock eyes that don't open. Alright, so now we're moving on to Eradicate, which I've already faced numerous times. So we're going to speed that up and pretend that it's not even here. And we're done with that. Okay. Yeah, break's over. Get back to work, slacker. Alright. So now we're moving on, and we're talking to this guy, and looking for his buddy, and being a lazy good-for-nothing. Interesting. You know, I happen to recall a certain lazy good-for-nothing sailor that I happened across very inappropriately. You know, it's very, very disorienting to find people in bed and talk to them while they're in bed. Hi. I bet he just, like, turns over and looks at me. No. Well, I resent your implication. How about you? Alrighty then. A sailor with a higher education. Go figure. Alright, so he's got himself a fancy Machop. And you know what I got? I got me some... What the heck? Hey. Okay, now you're just hacking. You're hacking. I don't appreciate that. No. No! Okay, this is another thing, another reason. I think I mentioned this before, why I think that fighting-type moves are a bit overpowered. Because when you use crap like Fly, you can still get hit by them. Unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, whatever you tell yourself, I don't care. Why don't you, instead of making excuses, become a better trainer? Or find something that you don't fail at. Ha 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 ha. I told him off. Alrighty then. I told him off, he says, knowing that he's talking to a game. Alright, so now we're moving on down, and I gotta tell you, okay, walking back over here, talking to this sailor, and I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this out there. It took me a good while before I figured out you can walk past him. I went all around the boat looking for where I'm supposed to go next, and did not realize that I could just sidestep him. Yeah, you know what, fancy picnicker? You go ahead and bring out your ugly fish lips seeking. See what I think of that? I think Citizen Zap is going to have a word with you. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's it for you. Alright, so that's it for Deborah. And, not so much money, because, you know, it's a little girl and picnicker and whatnot. Not having jobs and being out on the road and fending for one's self. Yeah. You know, when you think about it that way, you know, picnickers, they don't really have much. You know, they just rely on themselves, and they probably don't have much money, and yet here you are, when you beat them in a battle, you take half their money. Yeah, it makes you feel guilty, doesn't it? So, hello, Captain. You're seasick, aren't you? Wait a minute. The trash can is empty. There's supposed to be disgusting vomit inside of it. Oh, I guess you're not the same captain. Why am I playing hide and seek with a little girl? Alright then, well, I got the little girl off the captain's bed. And, like, I was confused. I was like, what? Is this like, you know, the trick room guy in, you know, Ruby and Sapphire? Is she, like, anywhere? Oh, Pokemon magazines. Alright. Maybe she's hiding in the trash can. Oh. Okay. Oh, yeah. Thanks for playing with her. AKA, thanks for getting her out of my hair. Bye. Oh, there she is. Yeah. She kind of sticks out a little bit. I love how she pushes you out of the way. Push. Push, push. Oh, you found me. Like, you could have just told me that. Push, push. Calm down. All right. Thank you for bringing back my granddaughter. Damn it, damn it, damn it. And then he gives me a free metal coat, which if you have Scyther or Onyx, hold it while trading, it will evolve into Scizor and Steelix, respectively. And we are moving on because the ship has now docked in Vermilion City. Now watch this. Fancy background switching. I love this effect. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a brand new chapter of the Pokemon SoulSilver playthrough. We are now in Kanto. And yeah, I mean, well, there's one thing that I was meaning to mention, and I will mention it after this very important cutscene. Hi, Suicune! How you doing, buddy? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. Hi, Ucine. I'm starting to see a pattern. Suicune prefers water. Very good observation, Ucine. Very good observation. You deserve a cookie for that one. Oh, God. You'd think after all that time chasing Suicune... Forget it. Anyways. So now we're going to be doing a fancy Pokemon switch. We're switching out... I know this is moving a little bit fast here. We're switching out UMAD, Tartard, and Citizen Zap. And now we are moving on to the place where dreams come true. And that could be just about anywhere, for God's sake. So we're going to be flying away. And where are we going to be flying to? Well, back to somewhat in Johto, although it's sort of also in Kanto. You know, these things are a little bit too technical for me. Anyway, so we're going back to Victory Road, and you're probably wondering, playing with Maui, you've been here before. What are you doing? Well, there's not a certain lapse in memory or anything on my part. No, certainly not. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm going through the Victory Road, and I'm going to get this TM! TM26 Earthquake! Because, well, it's awesome, and I'm going to be using it. And now we're going to do a fancy grinding sequence. But, a quick one, I swear. So we're going to get wrestling up, level 40, learning cross chop. For a second there, I just was saying that out loud. It makes me think crotch chop. Yeah, another wrestling reference and whatnot, D-Generation X. Yeah. And now we're getting wrestling up to level 47. Why? Well, he doesn't really learn anything. However... Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. I did it myself. And now, we have ourselves a fancy Machamp who's staring straight into my eyes. Okay then, so we're moving on. And, yeah, so, fancy Machamp and all that. Now, you're probably wondering, how in the world did I get myself a Machamp? I'm supposed to be playing on an emulator. You can't trade Pokemon on emulators. What's going on here? Well, before you freak out any further, like I mentioned a few parts ago, I think it was part 39. Yeah, I have this program called PokeSave, and it lets me, well, edit items amongst other things. And, well, amongst other things is Pokemon. And I can simply just switch Machoke into Machamp, and then everything's good to go. Good to go! Yeah, TF2 references and such. Alright, so we are finally switching back. We're going to be getting back Citizen Zap and putting away Spike 295. Unfortunately, that made me feel very much like I was simply using Spike 295 just for fly. But still, aside from that, no, Spike 295 is very useful. I appreciate it. All my Pokemon. Love them all. I love you guys. You're my truest friends. Truest, I say. Alrighty then. So that, awkwardity aside. Alright, so we're going to be having Espionage hold the Amulet Coin instead of the Bright Powder. Because I gotta say, having a lot more money is, well, it's better than not getting hit some of the time. Just saying. Just saying. Alright, so we're going to do some quickie quick shopping. And while we're quickie quick shopping, let's get to some quickie quick shoutouts. Now, I also forgot to mention that also, there's another new video description for Kanto. Yeah, just take a look down there, check it out, and it's awesome and all that. And also teaching, what's his name? Yes, Contra. Her name, sorry, Earthquake, getting rid of Bug Bite. And talking to the Pokemon Fan Club guy, or the chairman, and this time he will give you a rare candy, unlike in Generations 1 and 3, where he'll give you the bicycle ticket or something to get a free bicycle. And you're probably wondering, why am I running back and forth here? Well, that's because I was trying to look around and see if I could use Surf instead of Cut, because, well, I don't exactly have Cut anymore. And that's to say that I just plain don't like Cut. So I'm going to use Surf instead. And we're going to be surfing on downtown to the place where fancy stuff happens, and that's the Vermilion City Gym. Yes, we're here in the first city, the first gym in Kanto, and the first city, I suppose. We both were. Really, it's lucky that the traps work. Oh, yeah, thanks. Okay, sure. Now I can just battle even more. Thanks. You know, just make this playthrough last even longer. See if I care. And then I sort of inadvertently realized that I stumbled into a double battle. Yes, I did. But these two trainers combined, they have nothing that surprises us. However, what is surprising is brand new battle music. Dig that funky beat. Alright, that's just weird. Alright, so like I said, those shoutouts. Awesome Nature says, Flygon is my favorite Pokemon because I first heard of him and the rest of its evolutionary family through the Pokemon cards before I even bought my first game, Sapphire, in 2003. I thought that he looked really, really cool, and I do. And I thought I have to get a trap pinch whenever I get the game. Wow, what's up with me and stumbling? So shortly after I got past the desert area, I ran into a trainer with a trap pinch, and I remembered to go back and grab one, and it eventually evolved into Flygon. Nostalgia, FTW. And let's get to another one, because I feel like I've been slacking. Blazing Dude 11 says, the reason why I like Celebi is because, well, come on, she, apparently it's a she now, can time travel and just looks awesome. I mean, wouldn't you like to go and time travel? I'm digging that question. How about you, viewers? Would you like to go and time travel? Tell me, hit me up, man, in that place with the comments and such. Alright, so just wrecking, absolutely tearing through all of his Pokemon, making a serious joke out of him. Ha, that's sort of an oxymoron. A serious joke. Alrighty then. Coming up with oxymorons in this playthrough now. Man, this is just great. Okay, so we're going to be switching out, not really doing any healing or anything, just going to swap the driver's seat on over to Fireball. Fireball, go get him! That was just for old time's sake and sort of whatnot. Gentleman Gregory, he has a Pikachu. Ha, Pikachu, I laugh in your face. We'll super speed you. And, that was what I was meant to mention. Wow, all the way back when Suicune appeared. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Hey, look, an Electrike. Haha, awesome. Alright, anyway. People have been asking me constantly, in the past, I don't know, about, the whole playthrough, if I was going to do Kanto, and I decided to keep it a secret, well, until now, because I'm in Kanto now. I mean, as if it was an obvious last video, when I was on the ship, and I was all like, where am I going? Where's the ship taking me? And blah, blah, and such and such. And, ironically, though, I did get maybe one or two comments of people thinking that part 41 was the end of the playthrough. Very depressing. So now we're looking out for those fancy secret switches, and there's one. And as if luck was a lady tonight, there's the second one. Alrighty. So just like that, we are through the electric fences, and we are moving on over to, Lieutenant Surge. Repel's effect wore off, that's pretty convenient. Little Tyke. Lieutenant Surge. Oh, God. Come on. Oh, I love how he has a pink background. Yeah, real men wear pink and such. Lieutenant Surge. Give him a Thunder Punch, Raichu. Oh, guys, Raichu! He's gonna give Fireball a Thunder Punch. Sorry, a Thunder Punch. I'll never get over how awesome that is. And I love that one person for mentioning that as one of Citizen Zap's runner-up thingamabobs slogans. Needlelord 777. That was fun. Yes, I kept them. Don't worry, they're not going anywhere. Alrighty then. So he is leading in with Raichu, which amazingly, oh shoot, Thunderwave, not so much fun. Amazingly is not his strongest Pokemon, although you'd think it would be, considering the show and all that. And also the first generation, you know? Because with the, what's it? I believe Raichu was indeed his best Pokemon in Red, Blue, Yellow, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. Just saying. Alrighty then, so that's it for Raichu. Man, that was actually did not take as much time as I thought it might have. Alright, so we're switching out Contra with Contra's fancy new move. That is, of course, Earthquake! And we're going to be putting Earthquake through its paces, as well as Contra. And, no, we're not immediately using it. We're going to be setting up some spikes! Setting up spikes all over the place! Alright then, and he's going to be doing double team as well, so we're both sort of buffing at the same time, which is a bit interesting. Strange, but interesting. Very, very interesting, but stupid. Actually, I think it is. Alright, so let's get to another one of those fancy questions. Questions. What do I think this is? Team Fortress 2 battles or something? Shoutouts! T. Prower says, my favorite Pokemon memory is, coincidentally, in SoulSilver, when I was able to catch the roaming legendary Pokemon without needing a Master Ball. My favorite Pokemon is Eevee, because it's cute, and has awesome various evolutions. In fact, the co-star of my current team is ever-faithful Espeon, or my ever-faithful Espeon, Miles. This is coming from a guy whose name is T. Prower. His Espeon is named Miles. I never would have guessed that. Sonic fandom. Alright. So Earthquake completely wrecking his first Electrode. Gonna be wrecking the first... Wrecked the first Electrode. Gonna be wrecking the first Electrode. That makes sense. Second Electrode. Just making a joke out of him. Electrode, speedy Pokemon, but very, very weak. And just like that, we're moving on to Magneton. Now, Magneton is interesting because I always assumed that since the third generation, Magneton had, like, Levitate or Magnet Rise or something like that. And then it turns out that he didn't. Or doesn't. You know, it figures it. I would get confused. It seems like it, because look, he's floating in the air. You know, wheezing and coughing have it. Why doesn't Magneton have it? Get out of here, Nintendo. You and your crazy logic. Go die, Magneton. Ha 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 ha. I laugh at you. You and your fancy steel type and your electric type and your Electabuzz. Yeah, this is his #1 Pokemon. Yeah, it's Electabuzz. Yeah, as noisy and ear-rapey as ever. Yeah, no, see, I hate it when gym leaders say that. Like, they're down to the last Pokemon. This is just the beginning. No, it's actually not. You're about to lose. Sorry to tell you. Alright then, so just like that, Electabuzz thinks that he was fancy using Shockwave against me, and I just said, nah. Good night, Irene. Earthquake, taking out Electabuzz. Bye-bye. And that is it for his Electabuzz. That's it for Lieutenant Surge. And just like that, Contra gets a level up. But more importantly than that, and just like that, we got our first badge. Electric Trick. Alright. I'm gonna assume that he's talking about that fancy electric attack that every single one of his Pokemon had. Thunderbadge! It's ours. First Kanto badge. And, yeah. And also, yeah, here it is. It's TM34. What is TM34 playing with Mui? Well, it happens to be Shockwave. Zap. Seriously? Come on. No, Lieutenant Surge. No, talking like that, made my nerves tingle. Talking like that, it does not suit somebody with the moniker the Lightning American. You gotta be more badass than that. I mean, look at the camouflage pants that you're wearing, and the sunglasses, and the spiky hair. Come on. Anyway. Alright, so we're surfing back on over to the place where the Vermilion things happen. Millions of Vermilion things. Citizen Zap, what do you think of that amazing battle? Adoration. Citizen Zap loves me. You see that? Citizen Zap loves me. Alright then. So just like that, we're healing up Citizen Zap and company. And I decided to just come on over here because I remember this very well. Yeah, the Machop. I remember it because I believe it was in the text in Generation 1 that said Machop was stomping the land flat, or stamping the land flat or something. That was just something that I never forgot. I don't know why. TM62, we got Silver Wind, and just like that, we got a lead, trainer in the grass. Yeah, there's a gym leader just hanging out in the grass. A trainer out in the grass, and it is a picnicker named Selena. And Selena happens to have a fancy 4th generation Pokemon. Hey, look, it's Cherubi. Haha! I'll never forget that amazing picture of Cherubi and Gardenia. Call Officer Jenny! I mean it! That picture was so hilarious. I had that long ago. As you know, when I used to cycle out my channel background pictures, like DeviantArt pictures, and just, yeah, that was just one of the best. I still have that picture. That's hilarious. Oh, that poor Cherubi. The things that thing must have seen. Poor Cherubi. And so now I noticed that we have a double battle, so I decided, you know what? Why don't I do that one thing with that team that was made? Yeah, there we go. Blah and Wrastlin. What was the team name? Oh, Lord. I think I got rid of it, didn't I? Oh, shoot. Yeah, I did. I forgot what the team name was. Here's an annotation. Isn't that an awesome team name? Heck yeah, it is. And here we go, Blah and Wrastlin. Teaming up for the first time ever. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I'm telling you. Yeah, we're not doing Surf, because that would hit Blah, or Wrastlin. So we're going to do Whirlpool instead. Alright. And Wrastlin with the fancy... What was that, Vital Throw? Alright, fine. Don't use the new Cross Chop or a Crotch Chop. Just imagine. That hardly did anything. Just imagine that. It was an attack. Crotch Chop. What was that? It's Mario Strikers Charged. Waluigi has that as one of his taunts when he gets a goal. Waluigi, yeah. Just inappropriate. Oh yeah, that was another thing. You know, this whole time I've been saying for the continent, I've been saying Kanto, and people have been, a few people commented and said, no, you're saying it wrong. It's Kanto. Well, you know what? I see that they're getting that from the show, and, well, let me tell you something. You can't always believe what you hear in the show, because the show likes to make up a lot of nonsense. And, well, I think that there's no right way to say Kanto. I think Kanto, it sounds more Japanese than Kanto. Anyway, because it's supposed to be Japanese. Look at that! Oh, God! Thunder, get out of here! Yeah, this is... okay, I thought this was going to be a simple battle. Apparently not. Look at that font I used. Doesn't that look Japanese? Of course it does, because I know what I'm doing. Shut up. Alright, then. So, moving on. Let's go ahead and do another one of them fancy shoutouts. Domocom says, my favorite Pokemon memory is when a Magikarp killed my Gyarados. I know, sad. This is actually my favorite memory because that proves that Magikarp pwns. And by the way, Ant, if you have too many comments, that's usually a good thing. I don't remember when I said that I had too many comments, but whatever. Hey, Minin, you and your fancy fake tears aren't going to save you from this one. Nope. Seismic Toss destroying Minin and Plusle, possibly the most well-known duo of Pokemon that you could ever have. And Blah and Wrastlin, man, they proved their dominance. They proved that they are certainly a dynamic duo in their own right. Alright. So we're moving on to Camper Virgil, who has a fancy Slackoth! Another Generation 3 Pokemon. Boy, the Gen 3 and Gen 4 Pokemon are just coming out of the woodwork. And we're going to be using Surf on that fancy Slackoth, trying to take him out in one hit. Whoa, HKO, that's it. Alright. So just like that, we're moving on. Alright. You know, I'm loving all these, like, Generation 3, but I It's a thrill, I have to say. You know, like all these Generation 3 Pokemon pop up. Every time they do, I'm like, oh, look, it's, you know, oh, it's a Slackoth. Oh, it's a Plessolminen. Oh, it's a Cherubi. So, yeah, you know, good nostalgia and such. Oh boy, we're in Saffron City, but apparently the magnet train's not working right now because something's going down at the power plant. Wow, that's some funky music, I gotta say. And never mind about that fancy time skip. I went to go see something that I thought was important, but it turned out it actually wasn't. So it just wasted time. Alright then, so we're healing up, and if that's any sort of indication, I believe it's time for us to bid our farewells for now. And that is it for this part of the Pokemon SoulSilver playthrough. Join me in part 42, where I'll be moving on through Saffron City already. Man, we are just moving at blazing fast speed. We're moving faster than an Electrode, faster than a Weavile, faster than an Electrode, Weavile, crazy sort of mutant combination that moves really fast and tears up the joint. Blah, what do you have to say about this? Hey, she is holding something. What do you have for me, Blah? Come on. It's a yellow flower. Thank you, Blah. Thank you very much. But what do you actually think about this? Ah, feeling great about flopping around with me. Well, I feel great about flopping around with you too, Blah. See you all next time.